Okay, so let's see what we're doing for a lab this week. So we've got the lab archives. And then also we're on our week 2. So we go to our week 2. This is our overview. We go to the overview. And then if you click on this, there's a video. And the video goes through the instructions of how to get your experiment. So you go into your lab archives, you go into the chemistry, you open with the chemistry. You go to activities, and then you look on your syllabus, and also in the module, it tells you you're going to do names and formulas of ionic compounds this week. So you go down to chemical reactions, and then you find the activity, names and formulas of ionic compounds, open that. There's your instructions. So that's how you get the instructions. It's a PDF. So this is your Beyondlabs.
Do we have to register for Beyondlabs?
Yes, that's in the lab archives, and I also put the instructions in the module. And then I sent an announcement to give you your code thingy. So you guys should have gotten that announcement already. It's at the Cypress College, I don't know, something like that. Now, when you follow these procedures, you want to follow them exactly step by step. If you miss a step, it won't work. But they're pretty clear in explaining the steps to you. Yeah, do not skip a step, because I was doing it over the break, and when I skipped a step and it didn't work. Okay, so these are usually pretty short. So this is like a little data table. It's telling you you're going to combine silver with sulfide, lead with sulfide. You're going to be combining these. So this is like your data that you would get in an actual laboratory. And you would write this data in a lab notebook.
Oh, do I have to print it out,
No,
or do I just...
no, I'll show you. Hold on to that thought. I will show you. I'm going to show you that part also. So in other words, this is saying that this is what a data table would look like in your, like a handwritten lab notebook, but we're going to have a lab notebook within the Beyondlabs, and I will show that. I'll show that to you. There's a separate video I made for that. But this is just telling you this is what you're going to combine. These cations are going to be combined with the anions. And we know sodium compounds are all soluble, so it's giving you the anions. And there's just one question. So it's pretty short. But this is your hands-on component that we're trying to replicate since we're doing this Zoom University. We want you to actually do something. So this is the worksheet. So you will have a worksheet for each Beyondlab's virtual experiment. And I'll show you how to do that exporting the PDF also. Again, you can watch this again because it's a little video. The URL is on your syllabus, and then this little video was right here in the overview. It was this one. So that was the
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure
Oh,
to
son of a-
present some of my results here.
No,
It's
stop. Oh, God.
electrochemical conversion
Oh,
of,
no.
side streams coming off.
Stop. Okay, so this is the week 2 overview, and it's how to get the instructions for the Beyondlabs. So that's what we just looked at.
Professor,
Yes, question?
for the sections you want us to read in the textbook, is it 13.3 and just 13?
Oh, I'll fix that later. Yeah, I think it's 13.4. Somehow I accidentally deleted that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. That was the overview. And then let's see where I put the other video. I know I put the video. In the, let me go back to the syllabus. It's on my YouTube channel too. Okay, so let's go back to the syllabus. Pretty much the syllabus has that. There we go. Okay. So what we just looked at was names and formulas of ionic compounds, Beyondlabs, choose the high school instructions, get the PDF. We just looked at this. So this first one, you will always have instructions and their PDFs for the specific experiment. So let's see if we can go to my example of doing the experiment. Control click. Oh God. Okay, so here's my example of how to do the experiment. Here we go. Okay, that's senior. Okay, so you would be following the procedure. So you would have the instructions, the procedure. So you would want to just give it some time. I think it's running. Yeah, you would want to have the procedure, and you would want to go to your Beyondlabs. Go to this one's goes to open. This one's happens to be high school level. Okay, so you're going to chemical reactions and then identification of cations in solution. Oh, sorry, no, names and formulas of ionic compounds. I picked the wrong one. Okay, so when you click on the little bottles, you click on what they're asking you. So I picked different ones so that you guys could see. You click on the little bottle and you click on that second test tube, and that fills up your test tubes. And then you click on the little dropper, and the first one was saying, I want to add sulfide. I did a different one than you. This is my little lab notebook. I'm typing in the little lab notebook. Now I go over and I put it in the waste. And I get my next one and put it up on my little clamp. And then I add the second anion. I clicked that lab notebook was on the laptop. That's how I opened it. So what we're doing is we're replicating that table. But I'm using different cations than you guys because I didn't want to do the experiment for you. I want you to have to do the experiment. I'm using the same anions. Okay, I put it in the waste. Then I put the next test tube of the same cation. I go to the next one, which is what the sulfate. Click on it. I put in what I see. I type in my little formula. So again, I'm replicating that table. That's our data. I had nothing happened. So this is the data you would hand write, but we're not. We're typing it in our little lab notebook. So then the next anion is hydroxide. Oh, I put in the waste. So I find my hydroxide. Oh, I'm sorry. Put the test tube in the clamp. I find my hydroxide. There's my hydroxide. And now, oh, I have a color change. I'm going to describe the color as best I can. It's kind of a brownish color. And it's a precipitate. PPT, it's a precipitate. So I'm going to type that in. Now it's my waste. So I'm going to add my last anion. And this my last anion was carbonate. Ooh, that's a pretty one. So again, I type in my observations. Oh, I see a little typo there. I describe the color as best I can. It's a precipitate. And I put in the waste. Now you're going to go to your proper cation, but I'm using a different cation. I pick my cation. I click on this little second test tube several times to replicate it. I click on the sulfide. Oh, that's a nice color. Type in my observations. Looks kind of like a mustard to me, kind of like a light yellow. It's a precipitate, PPT. Put it in the waste. Put my next cation there. Again, you're going to use the cations in your instructions. Click on my little notebook. There's no change. Put that in the waste. Put my next test tube in the clamp. Get my next anion. I'm following the order of my table here. Put it in the waste. See, I got annoyed. Like, oh, can't get it in the way. Can't get it in the waste. Oh, I think I recorded that part. Yeah, this is going to happen to you. You're like, oh, it's not going in the waste. Okay, put the next one up in the, you'll get better at it though. Again, my next anion. Oh, that's a pretty color. Click on my lab notebook. Type in my observations. Yeah, this seems like kind of a darker orange or whatever kind of, I don't know, pumpkin orange. You can write descriptions like that. If you think it's a pumpkin orange, you can put pumpkin orange. My last anion then was the carbonate. That's a nice milky white. So I'm clicking on my lab notebook each time, and I'm writing in my explanations of what I see. That looks to me like a milky white precipitate, PPT. So you're going to complete all of the procedure. You're going to add silver. Your cations are going to be silver, lead 2, calcium, iron 3, copper 2. Those are all your cations. You're going to do this for all of them. I just did a few to demonstrate to you. You're going to type in all of your answers here. Okay, then this is how you save it. File, save. I renamed it so I wouldn't get lost. So you click on File, click on, oh, and then you click on, after you save it, click on Export PDF. Sorry, you click on File, click on Export PDF. I gave it a name that I can follow. And I saved it. So this is how you save your data to your computer. So everyone's going to do this. Okay, so that example is in that was on the syllabus. So you can watch it again. And then the steps are in the procedure, that PDF instructions. It tells you exactly what to do. So you can watch this video again. Maybe I'll stop this before I go to something else. Okay. And then follow the instructions. And then, so that is your virtual experiment that you're doing. You're going to have your PDF of the virtual experiment that you did. The PDF is your observations. Okay, then the experiment for lab archives is this one that says experiment 1, an exploration of rates of reactions. And so this is a PDF to help you with writing the laboratory reports. So you can view this online, and then you have to answer these questions. Or if you want to download it, you could do that too. Okay, so remember when you're answering the questions, you would just hover on the pencil icon. And that's how you make your changes. So blah, 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 here's my answers. And then make sure you save the page. So you do have a few questions here. Okay, here's your laboratory assignment. We're learning how to use lab archives. This is just, I wanted to add a video for you. This is no points because I wanted to put this video in. So if you want to watch this video, it will help you. So now, this is an experiment about rates. And so we've been learning about rates. This is to help us learn about rates a little more and get organized. So there's a little table, and now you know what 0, first, and second order means for the rates. We know that's the rate constant. We know we can get data. Okay, so here's your first answering a question. You're going to write the purpose for this lab. So let's be professional. It should be laboratory. At least I can't spell. I don't really care if you do it in a different color. That gets confusing for me. Just maybe in bold. That would be better for me. Okay, so pre-lab assignment. You're going to edit this table. Get your calculator out. So again, you would hover, find the pencil, get your calculator out, and do these calculations for the table. Ooh, graphs. Okay, so if you look at the question, it's saying edit the table, calculate 1 over AB and natural log of AB, and then 3 graphs. Oh, 3 graphs. Oh, yep, there you go. 3 graphs. 0, first, second order. So you have this data. You're going to make the 3 graphs. And then see up here where it says attachment. So you can use Excel and you can make the graphs. Yes, I will do that later. Okay. And then click on this where it says attachment. Look at that. Add files. You click on this. This will take you to your computer and you can add files. I'm going to cancel. So I'm not going to actually do it. Oh, 3 graphs. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to edit because this is the master notebook. Okay, so on your computer, you'd make your 0 order graph, your first order graph. Okay, wait. Yeah, 0 order graph, second order graph, first order graph. And then you go up to here where it says attachment. You click on attachment. It will have a place for you to add files. You click on the add files, and that takes you to your computer. I'm going to cancel that. And then results and discussions. Okay, so you're going to have a PDF of your observations from your lab notebook of your Beyondlab's virtual. So this is where you can attach it by adding a file. So we're calling it experimental because you're getting data. So again, when you're on this page, results and discussion, you can just go to the attachment, click on the attachment, go to the add files. It takes you to a computer, find your PDF. I don't know where mine is. It's on here someplace. I've got so much. Oh, I'd have to find it in my, who knows where it is on my computer. It's in here someplace. Oh, here's my Beyondlabs. Oh, look. Ah, it's in here. So, oh my gosh, I have other experiments I did already. Okay, so this is why you want to be very, label it so you can see what it is. Because see, I have a bunch of ones that I did already. Oh, here it is. Or not, I don't know. Anyway, so when you're doing when you're saving your PDF of your Beyondlabs, please be descriptive so you can find it easily when you put it in your lab archives. So we see it says the names and formulas of ionic compounds. It's that PDF that goes in here as an attachment. You also have some questions here. So you would just hover on the pencil, answer your questions, and the different color. The other professor did that. I don't really want that. Okay, in bold. That's easier for me. Okay, so you would just answer the questions in bold. here is my, that's kind of a small font. You guys might want to give a slightly larger font because I can't make these bigger. Yeah, that's kind of, there you go.
It's
that's better.
unfortunate that you can't use hotkeys in that box.
Ah, well, yeah. But if you guys can make it bigger so I can see it, that would be nice. Bigger and bold and I can see it because there's no way that I figured out for me to zoom in. Okay, so there's your answer. That would be nice if it was in bold. And then save to page. Okay, so here's your submit. So you've got two components this week. You've got a virtual one that you have to do and write down your data and then upload your PDF. And also in your Beyondlabs notebook, if you could please type your name, that would be good. So that is what you're doing this week for your laboratory.
So for the graph, are you gonna show us how to graph or what?
No, you can use any graphing program you want. You can use Excel. If you've got a different graphing program, I wasn't really planning on showing you how to do Excel. So, oh, okay, no. Let's see. So for your graph, where's the data? So for your graph, just whatever, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. Everyone expects you to be able to use Excel. That's just kind of a given. So now would be a really good time to learn how to use it because for you guys, it's just in your future employers, when you get to universities, everyone expects you to be able to use Excel. So this would be your time. You would graph, remember the time is going to be your x-axis. So when you're doing your Excel graph, or again, if you want to use a different program, as long as you can export it as a PDF. So remember, this is going to be your X. Then this is going to be my Y. I'm going to graph this on Excel. I'm going to make 3 separate graphs. I'm going to upload those. You really want to be able to do Excel because the next experiment coming up has graphs as well. So I wasn't really planning on showing you how to use Excel because I was expecting you guys know how to do that. Okay, so other questions about what you're doing this week for lab?
Professor, I think you told us to buy one of those lab notebooks. Did
What
we
lab
still
notebook?
need those?
No, it's not in your syllabus. This is your lab notebook.
Oh, so we
So
don't need
it's
that.
the lab manual. It's the lab manual.
It's like called Murav or
That's
something.
the lab manual.
Oh, do we still
Yeah.
need that one?
Yes, because when you look at the rest of the semester, this is a Murav experiment, method 1 for experiment 27, Murav, method 2, experiment 27, Murav, 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 Murav. Yeah, we're trying to replicate the laboratory too. Oh, here's another Murav. We're trying to replicate the laboratory so when you guys transfer, you will get full credit. So we had to do an electrochem. This is a redox. This is equilibrium, back titration. Yeah, we have to have you guys do the laboratory reports and I will be giving you data. So the Murav is a laboratory manual. So yes, you do have to buy that. You'll need that next week.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes. So this is your experiment for this week. Again, if you follow the directions and you're going to want to practice, you should be fine. And again, if you go to the syllabus, then remember that this is helping you to get the PDF. You can watch that again. And then this is the actual me doing the experiment. And you will get better at it. So this is the closest we can get to having you do an experiment. And it's kind of fun once you get the hang of it. Okay, other questions?
So, sorry. So we have a Beyondlab
Yes.
assignment or a lab we're supposed to do that
Yes.
you have videos to show us how to do. And we also have a lab archives one that we were supposed to put a PDF of the Beyondlabs into.
Yes.
The lab archives to do.
Yeah.
And,
So the lab archives is your electronic laboratory notebook.
Mhm.
So this is telling you in week 2 that you have your exploration of rates, which is learning how to put graphs in your lab archives.
Mhm.
So that's one component. And then your second component is having you do the hands-on, as close as we can get to hands-on.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to, because if you think about it this way, you would have 5 hours a week of hands-on. And then you write the lab reports on your own time. So we're not doing 5 hours a week, but at least we're doing something. So you kind of at least see what it looks like to have adding reagents. So
Mhm.
there's 2 components this week. This is showing you how do you get the instructions for your Beyondlabs. This is the name for what you're doing with Beyondlabs this week. And then if you watch this again, you'll see what to click on. You'll get the hang of it to go to the Beyondlabs and find your instructions. And then this, I made a little video of showing you how to do the experiment, but I use different cations than you because I was afraid all you would do is watch my video. You have to actually use the cations in the instructions. And then you're correct. The PDF that you make from your Beyondlabs notebook would be a file that you put in lab archives.
All right. Thanks, Professor.
Yeah, so that's your instructions for the week for your lab. Okay, so other questions?